Hi there, welcome to the Animal Intuitive Show. I am Ann Angela Webb, the Animal Intuitive, and welcome to a Halloween week special. I'm going to be doing some animal communication tonight and also talking a little bit about cats. So stick with us, and if you have any questions, please post them in the chat. Come on, all you doggies, won't you walk with me? I'm the puppet dog. So as I said, this is the Animal Intuitive Show, and I'm Ann Angela Webb, the Animal Intuitive, and I'm so glad that you're joining me here tonight for this Halloween week special. I have a few things planned, and yes, thank you. Oh, yeah, we've finally gotten to 1,000 subscribers. It took a little while. And I do want to give credit to a few people. Seeking the Truth with Dave, who has a great true crime channel, especially if you're interested in the Watts case. He's really dug deep into that. And also, Alex Erickson has a wonderful true crime channel. I'm going to put both of their links in the description. They've both sent a lot of people my way. It seems like there's a lot of people who are interested in both true crime and animals. I'm trying to figure out the connection, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments, actually. So thank you so much, Dave. You have really made a difference in this. So thank you so much for sending all these people my way, because I know that did increase my subscribers. And thank you everybody who has been subscribing and have been loyal to the show. I really do appreciate it. So tonight I actually want to talk about cats, because cats have an interesting history. I definitely think that a lot of us love cats, but they do seem to have a little bit of people seem to, maybe some people think that they're not so trustworthy, and they have a little bit of a bad reputation actually amongst some people. They're definitely unique. So some of us live with cats and we adore them, like myself. And I actually consulted with my cat Gracie for this episode. She is going to answer some questions that I have, and I think some other people have. And I also encourage people to comment if you have any questions, or put them in the chat. And if you're coming in and you want me to talk with your pets, please let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure to do that. I'm going to have time after I do this little bit of intro. I always leave some time, try to have something at the beginning, because I feel like people sometimes come in a little bit late with they kind of straggle on in, and then, I better have something to talk about at the beginning. So this is what I've planned for tonight. So, and please share this if you know anybody who has pets and might enjoy it. That's what keeps the show going, as well as the likes and the subscribers. So thank you again. So, I found this article that I think is pretty good. It really goes into the history, and I'm going to go through this article, but I'm actually going to use this as sort of a way to set up my questions for cats and do some animal communication and get some answers to some long-standing questions that I think are pretty fascinating. And again, once again, if you have any questions as I'm going through this, please let me know, and I can throw those questions in too and do some sort of last minute, in the moment animal communication. Okay, so I am going to go to, and by the way, I keep forgetting to say this lately, this show is about animal communication, natural pet care, and I do demonstrations about acupressure and massage with pets. I'm certified nationally in that, and energy work. I talk about essential oils, and also we do interviews with experts in the fields of animal care and advocacy. If you have any suggestions for any episodes, please do post them in the comments. You can also email me. The email, all that information's in the description. So, cats. This article is from the Cat Connection. I'm going to put this link in the description as well and give credit where credit is due. It's a really comprehensive article. And my consultant here is Gracie. She is my cat. I've had her as she's demonstrated some moves during my previous episodes, doing some massage and acupressure, things like that. She, however, has her own mind, as do most cats, and I cannot get her to sit here and appear on the show live. So this kind of speaks to what we're talking about tonight. Okay, so there is a complex history. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole article bit by bit. Nobody would listen to that. But, I'm just going to kind of summarize it. Cats have this really interesting and unique history. There's a shared history of humans and the domesticated cat. There's kind of this interesting time where we had the cat goddess of the ancient world, and cats were worshipped. In Egypt and the surrounding region, wild cats lived in the peripheral of human civilizations. They were slowly integrated into a closer relationship with people. Evidence of early cats kept as companions in Egypt stretch as far back as 6,500 years ago. And it's likely that during this time, the modern domestic cat began to take shape. So those cats were bigger than the cats we have today. And these cats were cherished for their vermin control, particularly following the spread of the black rat from India and Southeast Asia via trade routes 2,600 years ago. So then they began to be featured more in Egyptian cults and religion, and particularly with the goddess Bastet. She was originally depicted as a woman with a lion's head, attended by smaller felines, and originally a simple goddess who protected humankind against misfortune. She later became associated with playfulness, fertility, motherhood, female sexuality, and all characteristics of domestic cats. And so that's her up here. I don't know everything about cats. I think cats aren't they worshipped? I don't know all the, I'm reading from an article, but aren't they still worshipped in a certain country? That sounds right, and I don't know if I'm just being kind of like in the moment and I can't think of what country or what region, but that does sound about right. So I feel like I know the answer to that, but I'm not. It's just not coming to mind. So if you think of it, let me know, and I'll post it, the answer. Okay, so then what happened, though, as the Christian so cats were depicted originally positively in religious texts, and the Christian church held a generally benevolent attitude towards the feline throughout most of the Dark Ages, as cats featured heavily in monastic life. However, this began to shift in 391 CE when Emperor Theodosius banned all pagan worship, including the worship of Bastet and Diana. So cats were heavily associated with these goddesses. And they were at first left largely untouched, and they still maintain this positive, people had a positive attitude about them. But then this changed around in the 13th century. So on June 13th, 1233, Pope Gregory published Vox in Rama, which identified cats, especially black cats. So this is where the whole black cats comes in with Satan. Thus being the wholesale persecution of felines in continental Europe and resulting in the deaths of millions of cats over the next 300 years. That actually reminds me, public service announcement, if you have a cat, please make sure that they try not to let them outside from this point, through the next week even. It's not a good time for cats to be vulnerable during the week of Halloween. Sometimes they're used for very unfortunate things. So please keep your cats close to home. And it isn't just black cats. So the political reason for this sudden demonization of cats is relatively simple. In an attempt to eliminate the supposed worship of the devil, i.e. veneration of anything besides the Holy Trinity, the Church effectively sought to eliminate anything remotely associated with pagan rites, So cats still associated with Bastet and Diana were drawn into the fire as a result. I'm telling my husband, who's hopefully watching, to please turn off the filter that I forgot to turn off last week, and I heard this like background sound, and I forgot to do it again today. So hopefully he's listening, and I'm going to know if he's listening if he comes out and changes it. So yes, I'm sure. Yeah, they're revered. I don't know if there's places where they're actually worshipped, but definitely revered. It's very interesting in Egypt. Thank you for that, Kapal. So, oh, good, he's coming. Okay. Okay, so back to this. So the very nature of the feline may have set it up for this wholesale persecution. Oh, and also I skipped over this. Bastet and Diana were drawn into the fire. It was likely that such a declaration was a subtle admonishment of Islam, the most significant rival religion at the time of Christianity, and the one that has historically featured kindness to cats. So, yes, so this nature of the feline may have set it up for persecution. So as Catherine M. Rogers notes in Cat, in medieval, I won't read this whole thing, but in medieval and early modern periods, you had a hierarchical order in society and nature. This was assumed to be right and necessary. So people like to have this, think of things as having a certain order. And then, having the dominion of man was ordained by providence, and anything that would demonstrate antagonism towards God, which, therefore it seemed like their secret nocturnal world of the cats was presided over by the Prince of Darkness, and they didn't like that because that would, demonstrate an antagonism towards God. Poor kitty cats got caught up in all this. So then witches and their kitty familiars. I thought this was kind of funny. So this little picture. So just some 17th century witches hanging out with a cat, an owl, and a rat, as witches do. A little sarcasm. So following the church's formal condemnation of cats, it wasn't long before felines were regularly associated with witches. So this usually marginalized female figures that had run afoul of the church or their presiding local government. Officially, the Witchcraft Act was passed in 1542 in England, and by 1580, 13% of all criminal hearings involved some charge of witchcraft. So they went a little crazy with that. So though not the sole animal identified as a familiar, a sort of non-human companion used to inflict evil by witches or the shape of a witch could take at will in ways cats were ideally suited for the role. So they're not only these solitary hunters, indifference to, not caring about the comings and goings of humans, that they're thinking or speak to, that they're talking to the devil, but the behavior of a cat's human companion could also suggest that there was some kind of, leaning towards the supernatural. And Rogers notes this close physical contact, a shared language, and the ever-present cat as a companion. This to the onlooker could appear otherworldly. So add to that, then you had the symptoms of a cat allergy: wheezing, sneezing, watering eyes, and then there you go. So this led to people thinking negatively of kitty cats. So as I'm reading this, I kind of went through this. This isn't the whole thing, but I went through this, and I'm not going to go through, I think pretty much that was, I'll go a little bit more into this, the witch trials, but I'll stop there and tell you so far what I got when I talked to my kitty cat Gracie. So, and I would love also, please pop in people from other countries and tell me if cats have the same, I don't know, like if you have this kind of weird history there. Like we have the Salem witch trials in Massachusetts, and obviously with the Pope, so that's another country, different part of the world, but I'm just curious if if you have, yeah, because I've heard about it in Ireland. I've heard some pretty, some things about cats being treated, not to generalize, but I've heard some, there's sort of a perception by some that cats are, there's some, what's the word? Not mythology, but superstition around cats and maybe babies and things like that. So it's definitely not just kind of lingered here with witches and stuff. But anyway, so I talked with little Gracie. Gracie told me that it was interesting because I didn't just talk with Gracie, actually. When I spoke with her, I got some answers that were specific to her, but then I would also get what we call in animal communication the collective. So I can't even remember who started that. It might have been Penelope Smith who first coined that term. I'm not sure, but it's basically talking to the collective of that species. So you're talking to the energy of the group, essentially. You're talking to the group. So you're getting the perspective of pretty much the whole and kind of the, perception of the whole of that particular species. So, and Penelope Smith is the person one of the people who really kind of brought animal communication out to the forefront. And she is the person who has the code of ethics. She developed that for animal communicators, which is why people ask me sometimes if I can talk to other people's pets in true crime, and I can't, because a part of the code of ethics is you don't talk to people's pets unless they give you permission. So I can't do that unless somebody tells me they want me to. Which, by the way, if you have a cat or dog, any kind of animal that witnessed a crime and you want the information the animal might have, I will do that. Just contact me and I won't charge you for that if it could help. So Gracie told me that the history, when she hears about the way that cats were treated, she kind of actually shows me herself in this kind of clever stance. So here she's got her eyes closed and she's being sort of humble, I don't know, looking. She's not really her full self. She's very mischievous. I tried to get a picture of her running around because she can get really crazy. She said she was showing me herself in her full kind of proud self, and it was her clever self. And it was as though she was saying to me, cats have this long history of overcoming, of having this level of worship of us. And we know that. We have this confidence in the fact that we have had people worship us and think highly of us. So we know that we're special. And we know that we've gone through so much historically. They know that they've been through a lot. And they carry that. That's part of their catitude or cat attitude. And I asked her, what about do you think that you're different? People will almost say, I hate to use this word, but I was trying to find another way to put this other than just different, because different doesn't encapsulate what I think people are trying to say. I think sometimes people are saying cats are almost evil, which is what this is about. Maybe not evil, but they have a touch of something, a touch of darkness or something like that, a little something extra. So I went into that with, just trying to see what she thought of that. Because certainly I don't believe that. I mean, I'm an animal communicator. I would know that by now. If I've talked to thousands of animals, I would know that. She says, it's that we carry, again, this history, and that we can sort of use it to get what we want. We can pull it out when we need to and use it to our advantage. It's a little bit on the, I guess the human phrase would be manipulative, but it's not a mean, sort of a thing. But they use it to survive, and they use it to protect themselves, I guess would be the word, like to protect themselves, to show, to help people understand, like, we're not just these little tiny things that, you know, you could harm, you know, maybe there's a consequence if you mistreat us. That's their attitude about it anyway. That's what they think is gonna, you know, come across, at least. It's what their goal is in using that part of their personality and using that. So when I told her about the, you know, again, like what do you think about the atrocities that have happened to cats, because they were persecuted and killed, and, you know, along with the witches and things like that, or people that they thought were witches or called witches. And I a little bit got stuff from her, and then that went a little bit more into the collective piece. She was sort of like, that sucks, for lack of a better way to put it. She really I didn't get a lot of emotion or fear from her on this. So I don't know, maybe that is speaking a little bit to their personalities, but I got more in the collective. And what I got from the collective was a mistrust. So there's a trust issue that's kind of now like built into cats over generations and generations of, you know, many, many years of this stuff with them being mistreated. And there's just a level of distrust. And it could be that they started with a little bit of it. You know, that was sort of how they were when they appeared on the earth. That's what they, you know, their personalities were like to begin with. But it feels to me like it became something that became a part of them as they evolved. So that was something that also came up that I found rather interesting. It wasn't something that I really ever thought about. So interesting things can come out of animal communication. This is like always a lesson seems to come out every time I do one of these shows, because a little piece of animal communication always comes out of it. I always have to sort of explain why, you know, I don't want to just like say stuff and not explain the why behind it. It's just not how I am. So yeah. And if there's any questions, once again, if anybody has questions, please feel free to pop in. If you have questions for cats or Gracie, let me know. And if you want me to talk to your pets during this show, let me know. So, back to the Salem witch trials. Salem, Massachusetts, 1860. Sorry. There's my dyslexia. 1692. This pattern is repeated in perhaps the most well-known witch trial, which took place in Salem, Massachusetts. I'm not even going to go into dates. Here, the accused Tituba, a slave living in the home of one of the afflicted girls, speaks repeatedly of encountering two cats, a red cat and a black cat, and of seeing another accused woman, Sarah Good, with a cat numerous times. Tituba recounts that the cats, I hope I'm saying that right, familiars of witches and agents of the devil, demanded that she serve them. So after prayer, the cats scratched me because I would not serve them, and when they went away, I could not see, but they stood before the fire. So as fear of witches waned in the 18th century, the relationship between humans and cats began to improve. So poets, writers, authors began to embrace the cats as emblems of nonconformity, mystery, and eroticism. The very characteristics associated with cats with evil in the centuries before were now depicted positively. And by the 19th century, cats were kept as cherished pets. So everything kind of has worked out well. And it is during this time, though, that witchcraft and cats became an artistic and cultural trope, no longer a legitimate cause of concern. So in the 20th century, when the Halloween as we know it today began to take shape from its ancient roots, the centuries-long history of the cat's association with evil was transformed into the playful, often picturesque fantasy we still encounter today. So a word of caution. Yes, so the person actually mentions this as well, that while it may be easy to see this history of affiliation with evil and witchcraft is nothing to be concerned about anymore, particularly with black cats, they are still the victims of enormous cruelty and superstition that owes much fear that started centuries ago. So it didn't really all work out well. That's not totally true. There is something to be said, as cat behaviorist Pam Johnson Bennett recently wrote, about the perpetuation of negative cat stereotypes through Halloween decorations. So that's something to think about. So it's important that cat people work to change the way cats are seen, they say, especially at Halloween. So, and this article was written by Catherine M. Rogers. So I want to give her, this was written by Erin Flaherty, October 31st, 2015 in thecatconnection.com. So, okay. So, Capel, did you want me to talk to Biscuit Booty? Or were you just commenting? He is amazing and we talk. He knows exactly what I am asking or saying. Okay, so he does run the show here. He is very mellow. Let me get this article off the screen. He is very mellow, but I read his eyes. My husband does. We get the 50% rule. Cool. I guess you mean by that do you mean like that there it's like a 50-50 kind of a thing? Like, sorry if I'm killing any humor. I had a Siamese male a long time ago. Why did he jump on my bed and urinate on my abdomen? I loved him so much. This is a new one. I loved him so much. His eyes looked full of hate. Wow. That is a new one. I can tune into that because that's very interesting. What was his name? So I'm having trouble with my cat ears. I don't know how to wear them properly in practice. What was your Siamese's name? And I can kind of tune into that and see what comes up. Okay, yes, 50-50. Okay. I would love to check in on what I get from that, because that's very interesting. And I'm trying to think, was there anything else that Gracie, just want to take a sip of this, said to me that I'm forgetting to mention. Kernut? Okay. I'll see if anything comes up. Sometimes stuff comes back into my head as I'm doing something else. I'll see if she said anything else. I feel like I'm forgetting something that she said. I should have taken little bullet point notes, but I had it all in my head thinking it would come back as I read. But so Kernut, Siamese. His eyes. And oh, by the way, if you're watching the replay, just hit, you probably know this already, but tap your screen a couple times if you see me like receiving information, and you want it. And I'll also timestamp this too. I always forget to say that at the beginning so that you can go to when I start giving the information. So the when I do animal communication, another little piece of education, I give people exactly what I get. Sometimes it doesn't mean anything to me, and a lot of times that's what's very important. So I say stuff, and then if something means something to you, let me know. This doesn't mean much to me yet, and sometimes it unfolds as I'm going along to me, and I just stop at points and give bits of information to keep it going. So the first word that came up was stick. And hello, pretty smart. Thank you for being here. We're just talking to a kitty about some interesting behaviors that he had a while ago. The first word that comes up is stick, and I'm not sure if that's going into sticky or stick, but I feel like this was a physical thing, him feeling some kind of physical issue. And I'm getting like not what you think, like not, the first thing we go for when stuff like this is going on is like kidney stones or, bladder infections, things like that. And I'm not getting that. Like he does seem I get the word intolerant because I'm not getting angry, I'm getting intolerant of something. Stick. I took him to the vet. Yep, he was okay. Yeah. Oh yes, thank you so much. Thank you for coming, pretty smart. Dave's great. Vet said he was being a jerk. Well, we try to get a little deeper than sometimes that. Sometimes they could just be being jerks, but we try to see if there's anything more to it. So I just get that there's something that he didn't like something. There was something he was intolerant of. He was trying to tell you that. He didn't like this. I'm getting get rid of it. Get rid of someone or something. Could this have been his cat litter? Did he ever do anything in there? Like did he ever urinate outside the litter box? Because sticky, like paws. Like he might not have liked that texture. And he might not have shown you that right there. He might have gone to this extreme. Oh my, and I did? You did, you mean you did find litter outside the litter, never, I'm not sure what that means, I'm sorry. Oh my, and I did, but never. Never found litter. I'm not sure what that means, I'm sorry. Oh my, and I did. Can you type it out a little bit more in detail? What that meant? I'm not sorry, I'm not following. I know you get like a limited. Sometimes it's annoying when you're in chat because it cuts you off and it like sends the It like, I don't know, it just like sometimes sends you type something and it like sends it before you're done. I've had that happen and I'm like, wait, no, I didn't know I was trying to say that. Like, oh, you got rid of the guy. Okay. Okay, well maybe I went too far. I should have stopped at the person. That's so funny. So what happened when you got rid of the guy? Did it stop? Did the behavior stop? which it could have become a behavior that sometimes it gets ingrained. I think that was it. Okay. Oh, he didn't like the guy. So he was looking out for you because you got rid of the guy. So obviously there was something that undesirable there. He was looking out for you. Aw. See, they look out for us. They love us. They take care of us. Gracie doesn't want to get rid of my husband, but she antagonizes him because she thinks it's funny. She likes it. It's like she's flirting with him, sort of. I moved to the country and he loved it. He never did anything like that again. Okay. Did he get to go outside in the country? I'm just curious if he got to pee outside and stuff, like if he got more natural, peeing situation. Oh, I have tears now. The little guy. Yeah, and it's funny because I'm not like coming down in your vet. Vets have a limited amount of time. They're not going to sit there and be like, going into animal communication usually. Although I do have an interview with, I have not the best memory, especially when I'm in the moment and I'm on these videos and it's not something I plan to talk about. I just can't remember stuff. But I have an interview. I will try to come back here. I'm going to note when this was because this is another thing I do. I forget when it was, what time we are at. Okay, so knowing what time it is. She's French, and I did an interview with her. She's a vet, and she does communication with animals. I think she's in Florida, and I think she does some distance vet work. Her name is just not there. I'm going to try to remember to put this thing up here that they call a card or whatever, or at the end so you can link to it, but it's in my library of videos as an interview. But they sometimes vets just jump to, it's just they generalize, but we have to educate vets. I think they're coming around to understanding, that there is this thing, animal communication, but there's a certain amount of skepticism depending on the vet and where you are. He did love me. Yes, he was totally adoring the horse barn and even followed us on trails. Oh, cool. He must have loved that. It's okay. That was years ago, and I feel so much better. Oh, I'm so happy that helped. Oh, I'm so glad that helped. I love animal communication. It does cool stuff. And the animals are so great that they are willing to share and help us and clarify things. So very cool. Yeah, Gracie likes to mess with my husband. She has a real sense of humor kind of deal, and she's a tortie, and there's this thing. Oh no, you didn't monopolize the chat at all. That's what we do here. Where I do either pre-planned or spontaneous animal communication, so it requires a conversation. And you don't have a cat there, so if people have a cat there, or animal, it's nice to put the camera on them live, and I'll have people call in and everything. But no, you're fine. Don't apologize. Oh, thank you so much. I aim to please, so I'm glad. Thank you. I'm glad that I could help. I always appreciate the payback is to just let people know about the show. That's all I ask of people to, just it's a free thing people can do to help me out. I just made 1,000 subscribers. But YouTube does this funny thing where if, I don't know, I'll get like 10 subscribers, and then YouTube will decide to take 4 away or something like that. So I don't know if I'll stay at 1,000. Who knows? So, you're welcome. And always you're free to come back if you ever want me to talk to anybody else, any other animals. but yeah, she's funny. She likes to mess with my husband. She is a funny black cat. She's not full black. She's a tortie. Torties have tortitude, if you've ever heard of it. Tortoise shells, you know, they're sort of the black. Oh, my my husband sent me a screenshot of that vet. Her name is Joanne Lefevre Connolly, and it's episode 9. Wow, that was a long time ago. We're at like 87 or something now, 88 something today. That was a long time ago. Doesn't seem like that long ago. Yeah, she's great. Check that out. So the picture of Gracie has disappeared now because that's what my internet does. I don't know. I can't bring it up. But she will just like run over his head and wake him up and just sort of generally harass him. And she definitely thinks it's funny. It's very sweet in a way, because then she'll like, at other times she'll, you know, he'll be like, you know, whatever, relaxing a little bit, and she'll get on his chest and just sort of knead at him. You know how they do that. And if he has a beard, she'll knead at his beard like he's a cat, you know, the fur. If he has any kind of goatee going on. Yeah, torties are so funny. And they're known for being flirts with men. They have like this reputation for liking men and flirting with them. So it's really interesting that I had her first, and then he came into my life, and she sort of has done this with him. So it kind of proved that there's some truth to it. So, and she's a little demonish, a little devilish. We tease her about that little demon, in a good way. But, oh, thank you so much, Kapal. I hope I'm saying that right, Kapal. Are you in Australia? I'm not sure, because I know you came from Dave, and a lot of Dave's people are in Australia, but not everybody. A lot of people are here too. He's huge. His channel's gotten very big. So, and I would love to know too in the comments if people are interested in the whole true crime thing. And I have done one episode, and check that out too, because it's still really sad. I don't know what progress has been made on it. It's in nothing that I know of that oh, means horse in Gaelic. Oh, that's cool. That's what your name means? Oh, that's so neat. Wow. Episode, what was I saying? Oh, I did an episode about Catherine Janass, who was murdered. Oh. Oh, Pretty Smart loves her kids, dogs. Cool. Okay. Catherine Janass in Georgia was murdered with her dog Bowie in a park there. And you know, it's been very quiet. I haven't heard anything coming of it. In fact, I saw a post from somebody there that, you know, kind of frustrating. They haven't heard anything about it. They go watch that episode and share it, please. There's a video on there of people coming out of the park around that time. And those people are not suspects, but they do want to talk to those people. I think they did get a hold of at least one of them. So, but if people want more of that, let me know. I know there's definitely a true crime community who are into animals. There's some kind of, oh, cool, West Virginia. Oh, your name's really Debbie, and you live high in the West Virginia mountains. Okay, well, you're like Alex Erickson. You probably watch her. She's in West Virginia, right? She's a true crimer. That's cool. So yeah, if people are interested in that, let me know, or any other type of, you know, I'm bringing in interviews. I try to contact people about interviews all the time, and, you know, some can do it, some can't. And I think some get lost, by the wayside when I try to contact them. I think my emails get lost sometimes, but, you know, if you have any topics that you're interested in, and if you have pets that you want me to talk to, please let me know. And it does help too to make sure that you get on, and it's nice as well to have a picture. Contact me ahead of time. Go to the information below. It has all the information about what to do. You just email me the photo, or we can do that live with you holding the camera and like we can have a conversation and you can ask me questions about your pet and have the video on your animal, which is really nice. People like to see that, and it's just, it's nice to be able to do that. So if people want to do that, let me know. So I don't know. I didn't get nothing else is popping into my head about what Gracie had to say about all that. But I do appreciate everybody being here. And I do still have this Halloween pet photo contest going on. So thank you so much. It was a long-awaited 1,000 goal. So thank you. And Dave, you played a huge part in it. I know that for sure. You were so loyal, and you kept sending people to me. So I have this Halloween pet photo contest. If you have a pet and you have them in a costume and you have a picture of it, this is the last day of it, Thursday, where I'm going to be collecting those, and I'm going to be putting them together, unless maybe I get them like first thing tomorrow morning on Friday here in the United States. Then you still may make it in if I get them early Friday morning. And then I'm going to put them all together, and I'm going to post them in the community post, I think, on YouTube. And then, because I think I'll be able to do that. And then also on Instagram and possibly Facebook. And then I'm going to let people vote. And that's another chance to win. And that you're winning a free animal communication session with me, a private one. Not on air. It's something that we'll do together at a distance. And then you can vote and also be entered to win. So I'll just do a random raffle for that one. So there's 2 ways to win. You don't have to enter a pet's photo if you don't have a pet to enter. So I hope everyone enters that, and please tell people about it. Share the show. I really do appreciate that. We're just over 1,000 once again, so that we're hoping we stay over 1,000, and we probably need a lot more people to stay there for, a little bit longer. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here tonight, and have a happy and very safe Halloween, if you have Halloween wherever you are. God bless.